A third-party vendor risk management policy is a subset of an overall risk management process. It checks up and verifies the compliance level of the third parties you work with, whether they are contractors, associates, or any other entities. If you handle sensitive customer information, other businesses you work with must have strong data protection policies, since they'll be handling this data as well. Your policy should mandate measures such as data and network security, disaster recovery protocols, and access controls. A vendor management policy allows you to identify which suppliers are risky and implement controls to help you minimize that risk. The exact details of your vendor management policy come down to your own preferences and the nature of your business. Here are some steps to get you started. First, define your list of vendors, which can include any third party you work with. Then you must analyze the risk level of each entity and prioritize them by how critical they are to your company's security. High-risk vendors would include those with access to sensitive data and networks, as well as those that are important to your internal operations. Next, define what your vendor management policy will entail. For example, vendor compliance controls and standards, service level agreements, SOC 2 reporting procedures and auditing requirements, liabilities in the event of an incident, and protocols for terminating your contract in case policy is not followed. You can apply your policy to both current vendors and prospective ones. A policy can help with vendor onboarding by making sure your options are all secure and compliant. No matter how low risk a third party becomes, it never fully disappears. There's always the chance of a data breach, service disruption, or other incident occurring and ultimately impacting your company. Planning for incident response beforehand is always a smart move. Find the impact zone. Look at the services or products provided by the vendor and determine how your company will operate without them. Have a backup. Let's say that a communication vendor goes down. Do you have alternative ways of handling communication? Does the vendor have an automatic failover mechanism? Communicate with your customers. Let your buyers know that you are working on restoring your operations. Transparency makes your firm seem trustworthy and is sometimes required by law in the event of breach. Prepare for potential incidents by hosting a response plan meeting and have a dedicated team draw up official policies and response plans. Platforms and tools such as Centraleyes automatically monitor the compliance postures and risk levels of third parties and are an ideal solution. Here's why. Regular monitoring. A third-party risk policy cannot remain a one-time consideration because risks are always evolving. Holistic evaluations. Risk assessments need to cover not only the third-party vendor, but also any vendors that the vendor itself uses. Consistent enforcement. Handling all your suppliers through a central dashboard makes it easier to enforce your vendor management policy statement consistently. And readable results. These tools can generate a security rating for each vendor according to your requirements. If you want to protect yourself from costly legal, financial, and reputational incidents, look into automating your cyber risk and compliance within your third-party partnerships. To learn more, go to Centraleyes.com.